Hey, what's up everyone? So today's video is probably the most requested video we've had until now, and that is a guide to how to spend effectively, especially for light spenders, or even how to effectively manage resources as free-to-play players. Now, obviously, many of you are aware that my wife and I both are whale players, so our perspective is somewhat different than most. And obviously, it's not going to be a particularly helpful guide if I just simply sit here and say, hey guys, welcome. So just buy everything. Have a nice day. Because that's not particularly helpful to anyone. So I'm pleased to say that there is a very experienced player on the Chinese servers called Aolly who has put together a very detailed and helpful guide on how to spend effectively. They have a lot of experience playing on the Chinese version of the game, and as a result they've put together a very detailed document full of information. They've given us permission to make a video covering this document and be able to get to you guys the best practices for spending if you are intending on spending, and how to best go about that. So without further ado, let me pull this up on screen and let's go through it together, because I've had a glance at it, but I think it's more useful if we go through it together. I'll try to summarize and, maybe give my own take if it's necessary on what this Aolly has said. So it looks pretty good, I have to say. There's nothing in here that I've sort of stuck out as something I should disagree with. So let's jump into this here. So, how to spend my money. So, like I mentioned, this is a guide by Aolly, and I will have the link to this document in the description down below. So do check that out, and full credit to them for putting this amazing guide together. So basically, there are quite a few sections here. So first off, talking about gems, earning gems obviously being Stellarite. So the ways that we know how to get Stellarite is main story, achievements, rewards from trials, and they're all one-time rewards, Dragon's Bounty, the daily free shop chests, monthly pass, etc. Daily rewards, yes. And then events opening on roulette. Oh, the event-based rewards, yeah. So okay, so I mean, basically, as we are aware, there are around you can get around 600 to 700 Stellarite per day from all these various sources. Now, if you're a free-to-play player or any type of player, it's very important that you always try to maximize the Stellarite you get per day. Especially when it comes to the next topic we're going to get to, which is the paper plane event, which is an event that's important enough that you should be pooling your resources in order to get the best rewards. So pretty good section. I think most people are probably already aware about all the ways you can get Stellarite in the game, so let's move on. So, paper plane event. Now, I've done a video recently talking about the paper plane event, so if you want to really go into super details about the paper plane, check that video out. But basically, let's go over it again in a little more from a different perspective. So the paper plane, as I've said in the previous video, is a weekly event. It comes out once per week after it's open, which is today if you're in server 1 on the global servers. Now, we've already talked about the points cap to get the maximum rewards, which is 9,000. But most importantly, you don't have to always maximize every single paper plane event, because the rewards are different week to week. So it's best, if you're not intending to just spend and get every reward every single time, that you plan ahead to make sure you're getting rewards in the paper plane weeks that actually have something worth chasing. So Aolly has put together this really helpful chart here that shows which weeks of the paper plane event are worth saving for and which ones are not really worth. When I say saving for, I mean to get all the way to the T5 rewards, which require quite a few paper planes. So this is a very helpful chart here, and basically the weeks here that are the ones worth chasing for are 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, etc. So these two here, like this one says one of the T5 rewards is worth getting, and then the second section here is 2 of the T5 rewards are worth getting, including unique artifacts. Obviously, artifacts are a huge system, so if we're going to be getting unique artifacts from the the paper plane event, that's absolutely essential to get. So definitely I would keep in mind this chart here, and even make a note of this, screenshot this, or get it from the guide from the link down below, because this is going to be extremely important if you're a free-to-play or a light spender, to make sure you're not wasting your resources when there's better rewards coming in the following week. So as he goes on to say, yeah, so if you're a free-to-play player, you should only do the ones from the last row and skip all others. By skip, I mean only to do the daily quests and save as much resources as you can otherwise. If you spend around $400 to $500 a month and use it efficiently, you should be able to get all of the T5 rewards on the list. So that's a pretty good metric and something to aim for. If you are going to be a light spender, that seems to be the number suggested by this player as what would be required to get all the best T5 rewards. And free-to-play players, obviously, if you aim for the weeks that are listed below, the 2 T5 rewards where you can really maximize your resources to get the best rewards, that would be the effective way to do that. So let's carry on here. Without purchasing any packs, you can only get 1 T5 reward even if you hit 9,000. $54 is required. Okay, interesting. So basically what this guy's Aolly is saying is, even if you get 9,000 points, you're going to need to buy at least $54 worth of the paper plane packs in order to get a second T5 reward. So that's something important to keep in mind. So moving on, we have a section here about daily resources. Now, some of you may already know that you can purchase extra moves, you can purchase extra artifact energy. When we unlock the mount system, you can purchase extra mount summons and cat buns, which none of us in Global have seen, not even in the closed beta tests. When you eventually unlock that, it's also a daily limited system in the sense that there's a limited number of pulls you can purchase per day. Now, this chart here shows how many times you can purchase per day for all the various systems. But most important beyond this is here. So, Aolly is suggesting for free-to-play players, they would suggest buying 3 for each of these systems. So that's the moves, the mounts, the artifacts, and cat buns. So 3. How many threes did I just say? Okay, perfect. So that seems to be a good level suggested by them that allows you to, with the gems, with the Stellarite you're getting per day from all the various in-game events, to be able to sustain long term and get the best rewards possible. That's only 530 Stellarite per day, and you can save some Stellarite for Melomon and skills. So he's saying he's doing 5544 on his Chinese account, and it does require you to buy gems though. So let's see, he has a few other points here. So let me just read this quickly. So moves, you have to spend 1500 runes per day on average. Yeah, so basically moves are very important, and for free-to-play players, at least buy 3 times per day, and ideally 5 times per day if you're not short on gems. I agree with that. So far, I just want to say, I've not disagreed with anything so far. I'm just kind of reading out of the guide, but if I agree with everything he's saying. From an efficiency point of view, it all makes sense so far. So, you know, you can't go wrong with everything written here. So, the mount is obviously a lot of power, but doesn't give a damage boost. Interesting. I mean, that's the first thing I would disagree with right there. Artifacts are important. Buying 4 to 5 times a day is good enough until you unlock all the artifacts or bonus stats. Cat bun is pure RNG, so just buy some, but not much. Okay, so we haven't unlocked cat buns yet, so it sounds, if he's saying it's pure RNG, good to know. We'll keep that in mind. So, he's saying the mount system is okay, but not really that much of a damage boost. I would disagree. I would say mounts are still pretty important in my opinion, and actually I found, at least in the early game, sort of CBT, when the closed beta test that we played, I found the mounts were actually really, really strong, and you know, it wasn't just a small amount of power, it was a lot of power. So I would just say I think that mounts are just as important as moves and artifacts, so you know, at least the 3 times per day that they've suggested, 100% should stick to that. So on the paper plane event, there's 2 weekly chests with 2,500 Stellarite in total, which is worth buying. Okay, it's good to know for those who will be spending. There's an efficient paper plane chest there. So gachas, this is obviously gachas. So when it comes to skill gachas, this is something that we already know. The star rank of skills gives you a lot of stats, and specifically, yes, the 3rd gold star is where you get your attack bonus for your equipped skills, and that is a significant power boost. You saying the skills are useless when you get to the next tier? Technically, that's correct with the class change system. However, there are some pre-class change skills that are actually useful in the class change, at least for the first class change. For Assassin, for example, there are some skills that you already have that you will still use in class change 1. So, and not only that, but you still also get the collection rewards for all the stars that you have on your skills. And so I don't think it's ever the right thing to say that at some point skills are not worth pulling. You know, obviously you would pull on whatever the most recently unlocked class change is, but you still get collection rewards for all tiers of skills, from pre-class change 1, class change 2, etc. So that's very important for sure. So Melomon, according to them, is the most important thing and best investment in the game. So yeah, I would agree, it's up there for sure. I would say skills and Melomon right now are the most important systems in the game to invest in, no question, followed probably by artifacts. So this is something that probably a lot of people are not aware of, and something that I've seen and don't fully know the details about, but it's something important to keep in mind. So the Melomon that we have right now in the game are Generation 1 Melomon. And once we reach class change 4, level 44, we will unlock Generation 2 Melomon, which are significantly better than the Generation 1 Melomon we have now. That means that probably most of the Melomon you have and have been using will become outdated. And there is one very important exception that he's saying here, and that I agree with, and that is Demon Hound. Demon Hound is an exceptional Melomon, and we know that in the current meta how good it is. But according to Aolly, even when Generation 2 Melomon come out, it's still there as a contender, as one of the best Melomon. So that's very good to know. So just gonna read through this so I can explain it best. So based on your budget, there's three thresholds for how many Demon Hounds you should buy, or you should aim to acquire before Gen 2 Melomons come out. Either 15 copies, 21 copies, or 29 copies. Okay, so for those who don't know, there are a few ways that you can get Melomons for. So obviously there's the gacha, and most importantly, there is the wish system, the wish list system, where you can get a 50% increased chance to get the chosen Melomon that you put in your wish gacha, and that's really important to take advantage of whenever it's available. So he says here, the event comes out every 6 weeks. Okay, so there was a little debate, and I think in one of my previous videos I said it comes out every 4 weeks, but now we know, at least according to the Chinese version, which so far the game in our version has been aligned with, we're going to be getting the wishlist system once every 6 weeks. Good to know. The guild wishing wall, which most people who are in a guild will have already seen, it's about 1 shard every 6 days, so basically you're getting an extra Melomon dupe per month, which is, you know, it's enough. It's nice to have that as a bonus. Some people may wish that it was higher, but it's still pretty good. So then you can get targeted Melomons. This is specifically what they're talking about, targeted Melomons, i.e. being able to choose the one you want to get dupes of. So in the paper plane event, the T5 rewards for weeks 3, 6, 10, 15, 19, and 24. That's very good to know. So apparently that we will be getting a targeted Melomon pack of some kind in these weeks of the paper plane event. So that is something to look out for. Very good information here. And then, of course, yeah, special offers and special event rewards. Okay. So he's saying he's paid $3,500 over 4.5 months, and he barely made it to getting 29 copies of Demon Hound on time. So that should give you a metric for those who are looking to reach that 29 dupe level here. That's about the level of investment you should be looking at over that time period. So that's definitely a good metric to understand what is involved in getting this sort of best in slot Demon Hound up to the level required before Tier 2 Melomons come. So moving on. Wish list. Yes. Okay, we've explained this. The way is basically talking about the wish list system. So then here's the whole. Okay, this is something that I saw before, and it's actually a very important thing to understand, and I'll do my best to summarize because it's a very long section here. I'll do my best to summarize this. So basically, when Generation 2 Melomons, when Generation 2 Melomons are unlocked, there is a special event that gives away Gen 2 Melomon selection chests for free, and the amount of free chests given is based on the highest number of shards you've gotten for one single Generation 1 Melomon. So this is very important. Based on this event, this only counts your highest dupes for a single Melomon. For example, if you have drawn 10 Demon Hounds and 5 Blade Hounds, that's 50 shards. 5 shards per dupe, 10 times 5 is 50. So it only counts the Melomon with the highest dupes that you have, and it doesn't count additional dupes of other Melomon, just the one with the highest amount of dupes. So that's really important to know. So the reason that they're suggesting that you should focus so much on Demon Hound is because, universally, as I've said in my Melomon video, Demon Hound is the best Melomon, hands down, for all DPS specs. So if you are going to try to stack one Melomon's dupes as high as you possibly can before the Gen 2 special selection chest comes, it should be Demon Hound. This makes total sense. So, I mean, this is a very long-winded explanation, which basically summarizes everything that we've just said. So if you draw 15, you get 1 pet, 70 shards, 75 shards, blah, blah, blah. 1995 shards, 16 Gen 2 chests, 75. Okay, so he's basically explaining the reason for the thresholds is basically because it allows you to get a optimal amount of chests from this selection event at the release of Gen 2 Melomon. So this was a little bit of a waffly section, so I'm just going to summarize it again, and I apologize. I know this whole video is not as efficient as some of my other videos, but we are reading a document together. We're trying to understand. This is something where, like I said, I'm a well player. My perspective is buy, just get it all. And so I'm trying to also put things in a way that is more relatable and more useful to you guys, so that you can actually use it to optimize your spending moving forward. So I do apologize that this video is not quite as efficient as our normal ones, but hopefully you're okay with it and you're still learning something useful here today. So anyway, like I said, in summation, Demon Hound is the best Melomon in the game for DPS, therefore it's the one you should aim to get as many dupes of as possible, because the selection chest event that comes when Generation 2 Melomons is released will be based off the highest dupes you have of a single Melomon. So that's very good information, and it looks like the approximate time frame for when we'll be getting Generation 2 Melomons is around 24 weeks. So this is not something we're going to be getting in the next week or two. This is a fairly long-term planning ahead system. So basically just going over these, yeah, we've already gone over this. Is all the different ways to get the Demon Hounds. So if you're a free-to-play player who does everything that we've mentioned above, then you will be able to get up to 27 Demon Hounds, meaning if you want to reach 29 Demon Hounds, you may have to draw 2 extra Demon Hounds from the pool without a wishlist event to hit the highest threshold. So you're going to have to rely a bit on RNG in order to hit that 29 Demon Hound level. So now he moves on to purchasing from the daily shop, which is got quite a few important materials there. Obviously, this is, I'll show you here, this is the first time I'll go in game to show something. This is this daily shop here is referring to. Obviously, you can see I've just bought everything, which is maybe a bad habit, but so be it. So from an efficiency point of view, he's recommending the Star XP and pet food with gold, snacks, the Black Ash Stones, and EXP boosters. And they're suggesting you can stop buying EXP boosters if you stored over 100 of them. I think there's always a place for EXP, so I would just keep buying them personally. And he says you can start buying the 50% off gold chest after hitting T2. The chest gives more gold while you push the main story stage, but the price won't change, so it's better to buy it later. This is something for those who don't know that's important to know. And maybe you've noticed it already, but the gold chests in the shop does scale based on your progression. So the amount of gold in the chests in the beginning of the game is much lower than where it is now already for us in global servers. So from that perspective, yes, it does make sense as we get further and further progressed. Those chests become more and more valuable from a gold perspective, and then it makes sense to maybe put a few Stellarite into purchasing those gold chests. That does make total sense. And then finally, we get to the last section here, which talks about an upcoming event called the Garden event, which is something that should open on day 22 after server opening. There's not many details here, but let's see if we can understand. So day 22 after server opening, it is a sub-event from the Maltese series. Of course, if we follow the Taiwanese and Chinese servers. In order to get the top priority rewards, which are unique artifacts, and fully clear the shop, you're going to need to spend around $250 to $300. However, it's not cheap, but it's the most efficient way of spending real money in the game. If you decide to ever spend more than $300 on the game, this is where you should spend the money. Note that this event comes every couple of months, but with different artifacts as rewards. Some of them are good, while others are not. In the Chinese server, the first and third garden event was worth spending, while the second is worthless for free-to-play and mid-tier spenders. Very interesting. Okay, so just to summarize, this is actually very good info to know here. So on the 22nd day after server opening, we're getting the garden event, which apparently has unique artifacts. Now, for me, the artifact system is one of the most important power systems in the game. So being able to get unique artifacts that are event limited is something you pretty much don't want to miss. So if you are going to be a spending player and you want to spend around the $300 mark, it seems that they're suggesting to save for this garden event, because I would agree that if it is giving unique artifacts, that is something worth saving for if you can, no question. So, and the fact that this event is repeating every 2 months or so is good information to have. So first event great, the second one maybe you can skip, and the third one as well is very good. So this is all very good information, and obviously 22 days after server opening, this is going to be, you know, around Christmas time for us on global servers, so that's something we can look forward to, and I'll obviously release a video once that event is open so we can fully understand how that will work. Anyway, I think that based on everything we've read, I pretty much agree with everything he suggested. Again, I have to apologize, this video has been a bit more long-winded and waffly than my usual videos. Just trying to read through this document with you guys. I hadn't pre-read it, I just wanted to go through it together and share my live reactions to what this individual is saying, most of which I agree with. And I think that there's some good tips here, especially I think understanding the efficiency of how many of these daily resources you should be buying as a free-to-play player. I think this 33333 mark makes a lot of sense for sure. And yeah, no, really many thanks to Aolly again for making this guide, putting it together, sharing their knowledge from the Chinese server. Very, very helpful to have all of this information here. Again, the link to this document is in the description down below. I hope you found this video helpful and you know, have a bit more understanding and best practices on how to spend efficiently, or as a free-to-play player, what you should be planning ahead for in order to save your resources for the most optimal times to use them. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thanks again to Aolly for giving us permission to go through this guide on the channel. And if you like the video, drop a like. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you always know when a new video is releasing, and make sure to join the Discord. Like I've said every video, the Discord's a fun place to be, and I look forward to seeing you there. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.